Welcome back, y'all. This is episode 4, and I'm your host, Paige Batcher. In this episode, we'll be exploring the role of the mindful influencer. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is the role that you play as a business owner, as a bold woman, as an impact-driven human being. So hold on to your bra straps, if you're even wearing any, because there's a lot to unpack. So let's dive in. Have you heard the saying that the only constant is change? Okay, I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong, but I'm okay with that. Heraclitus was a Greek philosopher in 500 BC, and his famous assertion was, life is flux. And this was 500 BC. I'm like, what? How long ago was that? Well, that's okay. I Googled it for us. It was 2,519 years ago. Think how much has changed since then. I think we can all agree life is flux. Life is constantly changing for every single human being on this big rotating planet. And why am I telling you about this philosophy? Because unlike ancient times, we now have megaphones. This phone, this camera I'm talking into right now, our computers, the internet, y'all. We have a portal to connect instantaneously with people across the globe. I mean, it gives me chills when I really let it sink in. A few years ago, a friend of mine arranged a tour at the NASA headquarters, and I learned something that puts this whole thing into context. Did you know that smartphones today have more computing power than when NASA started sending astronauts to the moon? Like, really think about what is possible right now. And why does this matter for us as entrepreneurs? Well, it's basically everything. Businesses require marketing. Marketing is communication and human connection. A lot like what I hope we have right here. And your business is meant to help impact people's lives. It's my humble message to you from the knowingness that I still know only a limited amount about my potential. This is just my viewpoint as a woman who grew up in Kentucky, lived in 3 countries, and traveled to dozens others. Your voice matters, okay? It's time to step up bigger, bolder, with as much truth as possible. There's a common quote I hear these days in the marketing industry, and it is, make your mess your message. Robin Roberts said in her masterclass that your despair is not a tragedy. She said it requires you to ask, what am I supposed to learn from this? And more importantly, how can I share this with others so that if they're going through it, they can be helped? And listen, I realize this comes with fear attached. As women, we have been told to be peaceful and restrained and nurturing and agreeable, right? Worldwide, women have been silenced throughout history, or even worse, they've been prosecuted, raped, or murdered just for speaking their truth on countless topics, from sexual assault, Me Too, to reproductive rights. Listen, a government hearing on access to birth control and women's reproductive rights with 0 women on the panel is wrong. Meanwhile, the U.S. Pentagon spends a ton of money on Viagra, according to CBS News. And even now, even that little bit of truth scares me. And why does it feel so scary at times for us to speak up? Well, ladies, it's ingrained in our history as women. And really, in effect, it requires 2 things. 1, feel the fear and speak it anyway. That will help rewrite this history. And 2, speak up not only for yourself, but for other people, because there is a very, 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 very good chance that your message is needed right now. So let me lead by example. And these are things that I believe are important to talk about. If I had more time, I'd tell stories. I believe in equal rights, especially for women and for people of color. I believe it's time to speak up for justice for our brothers and sisters who have been dealing with centuries of injustice. I believe sexuality is fluid, and it's a beautiful part of the human experience. It's time to start healing homophobia and self-hatred so that we can have a better human experience on this planet together. I believe we can do more to take care of the environment. I think tuition prices at colleges and universities are way out of hand in the United States, and they're putting a young generation of people in too much student loan debt. And whether or not you agree with me on all of these things right now or not doesn't really matter. What I hope you're feeling is the power in speaking up. So I'll keep going. I think the traditional medical system is flawed, right? Insurance is a mess. The basic cost of healthcare is an abstract moving target, and the majority of doctors are handing out pharmaceuticals like candy while not having conversations on basic nutrition with their patients. I think the whole industry needs to evolve. I'm in favor of modern science and medicine of all kind, especially in including those grown in the ground, which the government can't make as much money off of, such as cannabis and medicinal mushrooms. I believe the war on drugs, especially when applied to plants, is greedy, corrupt, and a political agenda. And if you don't believe me, Google the privatization of prisons. And I believe in quantum physics and healing my body through frequency and energy and whole foods and exercise. I believe that we have the power within us. And actually, I've been using this personal frequency device the last few days, and it's totally life-changing. If you want to learn more about it, just go to poweredboss.com and look for episode 4. And whoa! Okay, that is a lot. I know, but I'm just getting started because I'm on a mission to help as many people feel empowered in their businesses and in their lives. And honestly, I think as a country, as a society, as a world, we can do more to shine light on truth and push away corruption and greed, okay? Because we're all changing and life is flux and we all play a big role. Don't forget, love, there are billions of people on this planet. And your story can help uplift people in ways that you probably don't even understand. I want to share with you a story about a woman who knew the conventional wisdom, but chose to do what she needed to do to help people anyway. I hope this story inspires you to know what is possible when you use your voice to speak up, when you serve others with mindful influence. Lydia Pinkham was born to a wealthy Quaker family in 1819. Her family was very politically active. They were ardent abolitionists and feminists. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Lydia and her family fought for the rights of women and people of color. Sounds like we would have been friends. I mean, maybe we could have had dinner sometime or something. Oh, okay, back to the story. In the early 70s, a recession hit. That's the 1870s, y'all. And her once prominent family was now completely broke. That's when Lydia, the now famous inventor, marketer, and feminist, had an idea. See, Lydia had long been handing out her herbal remedy for women's troubles, I think you know what I'm talking about, to friends and neighbors for free, because this was a time when the medical field was pretty sketchy, and common prescriptions for women's troubles included opium, mercury, and leeches. Yeah, that's right. A doctor would suggest you allow leeches to suck the blood out of your body so you could get rid of the toxins. Trust me, you don't want the leeches. So women often felt incredibly uncomfortable, rightfully so, talking to their always male doctors about these problems. And there was a huge market for natural, homemade solutions made for and by women. And that's exactly what Lydia offered the world. Her concoction was a brew of various herbs, steeping in alcohol. So let's be real, the 20% alcohol content probably went a long way. What was even more powerful than the physical relief that women found was the empowerment they now had in seeking a non-toxic, non-leech option to ease their pain. Something designed by women and something designed by Lydia that she and her friends used themselves. Because do you think those docs actually use leeches on themselves? I mean, let's be real. Ugh. Now, not only did Lydia invent, produce, and sell her product, turning around her family's fortunes, way to go, Lydia, she also wrote prolifically, and she encouraged her customers to write letters asking for advice and any questions they might be uncomfortable asking some leech-happy doctor. And right in they did. Lydia answered every letter that came to her, and that's when she realized there was such little information for women about their own bodies and about the facts of life. So she began to write and publish pamphlets that were distributed for free to thousands of people, giving them the basic information and respect that they had been denied by the medical establishment. So Lydia not only distributed her alcohol-soaked herbal remedy to women of her time, but she was also a crusader for women's health at a time when women were treated terribly by the medical industry. She empowered her customers with information, she treated them with respect, and she gave them knowledge that they needed to be able to take control of their own health. And this is still so incredibly valid today that more than 100 years later, women are still shamed globally for the natural processes of their body. Health empowerment is an issue near and dear to the heart of our next guest, Ashley Hornbuckle, who believes that we should all be empowered with the knowledge about the healing power of nature that is growing all around us. Ashley doesn't just solely focus on women's issues like Lydia did, but she has built a business and a movement around exploring the healing power of plants and nature. Ashley Hornbuckle is the founder of Fungi House. She's a registered mushroom farmer and an advocate for plant medicine. Her movement, called Decriminalize Nature Kentucky, is bringing some sense back into the legal system when it comes to plant-based medicines. Ashley is a woman on a mission. She is helping so many people, and I am excited to have her here today. My guest today, Ashley Hornbuckle, is the founder of Fungi House. She's a registered mushroom farmer. She is a woman on a mission to decriminalize nature, and I am so glad she's here. Ashley, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. So, okay, we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
But, this show is about being an empowered woman who says, I'm going to go after my dreams. So what was it like for you when you decided that you were going to be your own boss?
It was kind of an easy transition for me, honestly. My parents were entrepreneurs, so I kind of already grew up in that environment of people claiming their own power and making their own schedule and making their lives work for them.
What did your parents do?
They owned a portable restroom company.
Like porta potties?
Yeah, like porta potties.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Right. So what did you learn from them about running a business that you still use today?
Yeah, so I learned definitely how to communicate great with customer service, how to make yourself a leader in any industry by providing the best possible service. We were a service-based industry. Right now, I'm service and product-based industry, but particularly in services, when we have competition, it's really about what sets us apart from the rest. And for me, I want to make sure that whatever experience you're having from whatever service I'm providing is the best of the best and catered really to you. And I feel like that's why I do so well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's talk about this for a second, because there is this notion that it used to be highly competitive. And now I feel like as a younger generation, we're looking at competition a little bit differently.
Totally.
How do you view it when it comes to when you see another business owner and you think, look at their success? What goes through your mind?
Well, that's one thing I love about working in mycology, and particularly the mushroom business, is that people that work in this industry tend to share unbelievable amounts.
Okay.
Mushroom mycelium literally is the connector of everything on the planet. It's the little interconnected web of all the trees, all the plants, all the bugs. So I feel like when you work in that industry, it's natural to be just connecting to everyone and everything. So I found a much less competitive environment in this industry, which I love because it's way more friendly and giving and let me help and let me share genetics and let's share information. So it's definitely a better fit for me because I'm not here to compete. I'm really here to share my love and what I do with everyone in the world. And I love to learn, and I have a lot more to learn. So it's great. I picked an industry that, I could study the rest of my life and still barely even scratch the surface.
That's amazing. Okay. So tell me more about starting Fungi House and what you guys do and how the mushrooms are involved and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was really wild. That was
Pun intended.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever launched a product.
Okay.
I knew nothing about product launch. I knew nothing about labels and bottles and FDA regulations and the whole shebang. So I basically was like a newborn baby learning everything for the first time. So it was a struggle and it was frustrating, but it was inspiring and it brought out so much creativity and so much joy and just so much love for life. And what I realized is I love challenge. So of course I'm an entrepreneur. It took me almost 4 weeks finalizing my label. I had to learn Photoshop from the beginning because I didn't have the money to hire the person. So I had to learn it myself. And I
figured everything out yourself.
That's the thing about being an entrepreneur is really stretching your knowledge and your natural skills and saying, well, let me go outside of my box. Let me learn a little bit more and see what I can do. And then eventually hire all the people,
Amazing. Amazing. I have a mentor that calls it the kitchen floor moment, where you've got the tub of ice cream and you're halfway in tears and you're thinking to yourself, do I have what it takes?
Yeah.
Do you have any of those moments?
Absolutely. I had a whole lot of them, especially the first 6 months. I still have them. I'm looking to grow and expand my business now. I'm not nearly as unsure as I was in the beginning, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm working literally in my direct passion, in my love, and that just translates to anyone that I talk to and anything that I do, so they just kind of naturally pick up on that.
How did you know your passion was mushrooms and plant matter?
I ate psychedelic mushrooms.
Okay. You're like, this is it. I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be about this. I'm going to learn everything I can. And then you started farming them.
Yeah, I started farming them. I had some experience with them before, and I was in a huge career change in my life, and I knew I just wanted to come back to nature. I had gone the complete opposite route in my career and then was pulled right back to my roots. Amazing how that happened.
Yeah.
And when I did, I got my Master Gardener certification, and I really just started working a lot more with trees and plants and herbs and flowers. And then was just, of course, fascinated by fungi. So I started growing it, and I loved it, and said, I have to get this medicine to the people. I have to get this information to the people. And I decided to make a supplement, and I'm making supplements because some people are adverse to the taste or the texture of mushrooms, but I don't want them to miss out on the medicinal properties.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I want to talk about the medicinal components of it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking specifically about two things for the audience.
Yeah.
The first is this notion that if I follow my passions, there's no money associated.
Right.
So I kind of want to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that concern? Oh, well, farmers don't make a lot of money. I don't know how I'm going to make this into a business. And how did you overcome that?
So I kind of overcome the blocks of money before I started this business as far as my mindset is concerned. And I really look at money as an energy, and it's an energy exchange. So if I'm doing what I love to do that I know is helping not only myself, but helping others, I know the universe or God or Allah or Jesus or Muhammad or whoever you talk to, the goddesses, the God, they're going to bless you with that energy. It's literally just going to come back. I'm still not in the green. I don't care. Fungi House is awesome. We're getting there.
Plant puns are the best.
Yeah. I'll get there. But I'm doing what I love every day. And it's amazing to be at my pool, taking a day off and like getting orders on my phone while I'm relaxing. And I was like, this is the benefit of putting in all of the hard work at the beginning. So then you take that time off, you're still getting revenue, and you can continue to build your business and build your brand.
Second thing I want to talk about before we talk about the actual medicine of it is this notion that throughout history, women have been persecuted when they speak their truth. And in this role that you're in, you are speaking truth about not only the medicinal varieties, but the psychedelic varieties. And what can you say to a woman who's timid about sharing their truth? Because I look at what you're doing, and I look at how you're saying, look, these plants shouldn't be illegal. What gives? And that's a lot of power. So where do you find that source of power? And, what have you thought through over time in this regard?
In my own personal experience, I think I found my power when I realized that I can't compare myself to anyone else. I am my own beautiful, unique color and vibration of the universe, just as you are. I'm not going to talk like anybody else. I'm not going to walk like anybody else. I'm not going to do the same things as anybody else. So coming to terms with my truth and my vibration and not comparing it, I feel like is what gave me my actual power and foundation to be like, you know what? That's cool that you're on X, Y, or Z, but I got nature, and this is what I want to talk to you about, and it's been amazing for me. So I think not comparing and really finding the inner strength, the inner power of the individual, because your message and what you're here to bring is so specific and so beautiful. Why would I even try to do that? I could never even compare. So it's, I think, really finding your truth and your inner voice.
This plant medicine concept, not new. But it certainly feels like it's a resurgence of information.
I mean, there's even theories of human evolution, literally using plant medicine to become where we are today. So when you think of plant medicine, it goes back to like even pre-humans possibly, but definitely from the time that humans have been on this earth. And it's been a tool for us to access the information not only on this planet, but also throughout our universe and the multiverse. So many times.
The multiverse?
Yeah, I call it the multiverse.
Okay. Meaning like dimensions of space and time and everything that exceeds it and
all of it.
This energetic field that we're in.
Superpower.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for all time we've used plant medicine. Probably just didn't call it that. Honestly, we were just humans walking the earth and taking from the earth what we needed to create that healing process. What do you think has happened to the education over time? Because it seemed like when pharmaceuticals took charge, then we stopped paying attention to the wisdom of other people.
Well, and it was even pre-pharma that happened with the pharmaceuticals. It really started happening in the 60s and during the hippie movement. But what's happening too, I wasn't born yet. But what happened was that people were really awakening. And I hate to use that word awaken, but that's the truth. They were awakening.
Yeah.
They were coming out of their programs. If you go back to childhood, you think your teachers taught you, sit at this time, leave when the bell goes, eat these foods. Your parents were putting all these restrictions on you, your mentors, if you're in church, your church leaders, all of these things. And they were all meant to keep you safe. But really, most of them are very limiting. And especially when you become an adult, that's when you need to like break free of all those things and free yourself and figure out, who am I and what is my superpower? I feel like plant medicine, the number one thing that it does is reconnect you with your own specific inner voice. So it's not me telling you or your parents telling you or your mentor telling you, it's you finding what works best for you. And that's why I'm a huge proponent of it, is you being your own healer and you being your own best teacher. Because at the end of the day, we can always give advice, but you're going to resonate what feels right with you and then take that and move on with your life.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so all right. Well, as we close out, I want to let everyone know we're going to put all the links and stuff everywhere we can to make sure that you know how to connect with Ashley. What final bits of advice would you offer the woman who's teetering on that fence between, I think I have confidence, I'm not sure, I want to follow my passion and live my dream, but I just don't know, I feel stuck? What advice would you give her?
I actually learned this advice from someone who's going to be on your show last night.
Okay, cool.
And I'd love to share it because it was brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. The advice is sit down and figure out if the decisions that you're making or the obstacles that you're coming to are coming from a place of fear or love. Right? Number one. If they're coming from a place of fear, recognize that, understand that, love that, but don't make your decisions and move forward based on fear. Do them on love. So if every time you come back and you're like, yeah, I love this and this just lights me up and it's what I gotta do, then girl, just go do it. Like, we don't have time to wait for you to find your own power and love. You already have it. Just like fully express it and fully embody it. And let those fears have their voice, but don't let them make the decisions going forward.
Yes, amen to that. Thank you, Ashley, for being here.
Hey, the fungi!
Oh, what's up, ladies? I'm not sure about you, but this episode has me absolutely fired up. I'm so excited to help you step further into your voice so that you can speak truth on this planet. You can improve. Think of it this way. Even if you only just improve one person's life, that's better than none. That's incredible, and that's a good place to start. So no matter where you are in your business right now, it's never too late to start asking yourself what stories you can tell. So I want to walk you through this exercise. This is the part of our show where this is your mission, should you choose to accept it. Grab a journal, be willing to speak these answers out loud, highly recommended right now, or just say them silently to yourself, okay? Let's go. I'm going to ask you these questions quickly, and I don't want you to overthink this. Chances are the very first thing that comes to your mind is something that your inner being knows is worth sharing. So, you ready? Let's do it. First question. What's something you've most wanted to talk about, but you've been holding back for fear of what other people will think? What's a new way to look at that fear? Can you reframe it? What's something you've personally experienced and grown from that you know if you shared, you can help other people? Okay, don't overthink it. Go with that right there. All right, let's build a story here. So let's start at the beginning. Answer this phrase. I believe blank. Okay, ready? Next one. Because I experienced blank. Okay, the next part. And now I blank. Here you get to paint a picture of what life looks like now. And the final prompt here, and here's how I think it can serve you. And this is the part of your story where you get to connect the dots for people on how you think your personal experience can serve them. All right, now to round this out, a question for you is, can you tie what your business has to offer to this? And don't rigidly feel like this has to be a direct correlation. People want to get to know you. People want the human connection. And with that, I will remind you that this is such a super quick exercise, and to go deeper, I encourage you to go to our website, empoweredboss.com. Go deeper, explore deeper, and write out your story, because it is proven that when you write things down, they become more tangible and more real for you to be able to share with the world. In rounding out today's episode, I got really real with you about the things that matter most in the world, and I want to encourage you again to remember that your light matters. That in this world that's seemingly endless chaos, truth is really important. So I hope you learned today from the stories about Lydia Pinkham, where she really just said, okay, I see what the traditional medical, institution is doing, but I'm going to do something that helps people anyway. And we learned from Ashley Hornbuckle that you don't need to be in a medical field in order for you to step up and speak truth that you know to be real, that you know is going to help people. So whatever that story is for you, or set of stories where you can shine light on things that were difficult, some of the techniques that you've used to overcome those, that will be you showing up and being the change that you hope to see in the world, right? And that will inevitably grow your business. So I am incredibly honored that you are here with us watching this show. Again, my name is Paige Batcher, and my team and I are on a mission to enhance the empowerment effect that is created when women step into their power, tap into their purpose, and make a bigger impact on this planet. In the next episode of Empowered Boss, our finale episode of this season, we'll actually be talking about the empowerment effect. We'll be talking about that ripple that's created when women show up powerfully. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you there.